Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY. So we're looking at this WXY, looking for an X2 and a Z up. Like we've mentioned, this can be an A, B, C in here for more upside and to extend this wave Y. That's still definitely not out of the question. On the H4, you can see the count, nothing's changed since last week. It become a little bit more difficult with this 3 down in here, but essentially we're looking at the A, B, C as a running flat to get more upside. Looking at the H1, we are starting to get a little bit of upside. It's reasonably slow though. We just broke this top. We're getting bearish divergence. So if you took any trade before non-farm payroll, you know, you're first targeting this 100 fib here, and then probably the 161.8 as your second target. We really want to see this really take off a bit more. If you get any flag in here, you could definitely look for the buy. Just make sure you're definitely at break even at this high here. AU on the daily. So we're just looking at this last piece. Looking at an A, B, C. We're looking to price to get up to this 100 fib. Didn't quite get there. So then we'll be looking for a larger A, B, C. On the H4, like I've mentioned, there was a couple of different scenarios here. We could get an A, B, C, and then an A, B, C before we get the larger A, B, C. Still can't totally rule that out yet. But I am sort of starting to look at it as, you know, the A, B, C as complete in the B wave, on the daily B wave as complete, and we go down and break that low, or at least break this low. So on the H1, sort of looking for a motive structure down here. Again, we're starting to get that bullish divergence. Now, if this does continue down, we may lose that bullish divergence that's starting to form. But at this stage, we're just looking, you know, you really want to be targeting that 100 fib if you're in this. You know, there's a little sell set up there just before non-farm payroll. So yeah, if you're in it, I'd be targeting the 100 fib and the 161.8 is your second target. EU on the daily. This one really hasn't done much at all over the last 3 weeks. So on the daily, we're looking at that WXY. Waiting for this X2 up to 38.2 and then the Z down. So this is where it gets quite tricky. We've been in here for the last 3 weeks. It's gone nowhere. We're looking at a WXY, X2 and a Z down. Still definitely can't rule this out. This is becoming a larger correction. But yeah, it's virtually untradeable. You wouldn't want to be trading this. It's not something I'd trade. You know, when we get these large corrections like this, we really need a break at the top or a break at the low to give us a direction. You know, at this stage, you can really only sell it. You got bearish divergence, you know, really risky because we got an impulse down here, very deep correction, and it's starting to go again. Me personally, I'd just stay out of it. You know, there's better things to trade. GU on the daily. So nothing's changed on the daily. We've got that WX extended wave Y. We're looking for that X2 up to the 38.2 and then the Z down. Again, like I've mentioned, we can get a B, C in here, and then more downside, and it'll still be in this wave Y. Looking at the H4, so we got that 1, 2, 3 down. Then we got this like nice impulse up, a B wave breaking the low, a C up. It breached just above the 100 fib, which is fine. So we're looking for an A, B, C down to this 100 fib here. So looking at the H1, it is quite choppy. I was looking for more of a motive sort of a structure, and we are getting, it's more motive. We don't have any bullish divergence. So we're looking at a WX, wave Y, X2, and then a Z down. Hopefully breaking the low, the H4 low, or at least breaking this low here. Really like to see this low here broken, or even that one. And new on the daily. So we're looking at WX, Y. Then we'd be looking for the X2 and a Z down. Again, you know, this may be internal as an A, B, C in here as a flat for an A, B, C in wave Y. We do have a cross here. But other than that, you know, we'll be looking for a long drawn out correction over here, like I've mentioned in previous weekly outlooks. Looking at the H4, really hasn't gone. We're looking at that A, excuse me, B and a C up to that 100 fib. We never got up to that 100 fib. We're starting to get bearish divergence, so it becomes very risky to buy. As you see on the H1, we got 3 up. Got that 1, 2, 3 up. Impulse down. We got a nice, well, it wasn't a very nice correction. Would have liked another one up here and then fallen over, but it has fallen over. I think it has just broken the low, and we're starting to get bullish divergence. So it becomes risky if you didn't get in up the top here somewhere, you know, where you'd be at break even. Yeah, and for the buy, you know, if this does, I wouldn't be buying this, but you know, if it did go up there, break that top, and then give you a flag, well, then you could look for the buy. But other than that, you know, you definitely can't look for your buy within this. You're more looking for sell for more downside, you know, down to the A, B, C 100 fib. UY on the daily. So nothing's changed. We've got that WX, standard wave Y. Looking for that X2 down to the 38.2 and then the Z up. Again, If I go down to the lower time frame, we'll see it a little bit better. But we got those 5 up. We got that Z up, and we lost all that bearish divergence. So I was just looking for a correction and more upside. Well, we're getting a correction, but it's an A, B, C as a expanding flat. This one has gone. It's pretty much too late to jump in. Again, you really needed to get in before non-farm payroll. But yeah, if you get it, excuse me, any little bullish flag in here, you could definitely look for it. You know, first targeting that 100 fib, and the second target is that 161.8. You know, and we may get 5 up here, like a WXY, X2, and a Z up, possibly breaking the top, possibly breaking this top up here. The Swissy on the daily, like I mentioned, this is quite complex. So we're looking at that WXY. We're looking for an X2 and a Z up. This can be long drawn out. We're looking for a correction a similar size to this over here. So this can become quite complex, and it's showing that. Like I've mentioned, we get impulse, 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 impulse. Sooner or later, we've got to get a correction. And we may be getting a correction here. Looking at it, there's so many different ways we can look at this. You know, at this stage, I'm just looking at an A, B, C, up to this 100 fib here. And then we can start to look if we can put a few of these together for an A, B, C, A, B, C. Again, we're in early days, but this may just be an A, B, C in here. If I just scroll out again. So if this is an A, B, C in here, then we can look at this as an A, B, C. And then you get an A, B, C, A, B, C, and it just goes on. A, B, C. You know, for some massive, large correction like what we're looking for on the daily. So this can become quite complex. We're looking for a very large correction here. And it's going to become very complex, I dare say. So at this stage, it's like most of the others, you know, if you do get a buy set up in here, you can look for it, you know, first targeting that 100 fib and then the 161.8. For the sell, you have to break below there, give you a bearish setup, and then you could look for a sell. UCAD on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C. We may be still in this wave C up here. We're looking to get up to this orange fib here, 100 fib. But again, we can look at this as an A, B, C in here. Then you get the A, B, C in the C wave. So on the H4, you can see what I'm looking at. Nothing's really changed since last week. We've got this nice setup in here. If you got on that, just, yeah, hold it. Yeah, we're looking for that A, B, C up to this 100 fib. On the H1, It's term motive, so that's nice to see. So we're looking at that WXY, X2 and a Z up. And this may be an extended wave Y. Yeah, so you should be already in it if you're going to trade this. Yeah. UY on the daily. So again, this has become very complex. We got those 5 up. We had the bearish divergence. We had a nice impulse down, but then we had a very deep correction. So again, we're getting this, large structure, large corrective structure in here. So breaking it down on the H4, you can see what I'm looking at. So we're looking at this A, B, C. Internally, we got like an A, B, C in here. Then we get an A, B, C. Then we get the A, B, C. So on the H1, it hasn't broken up the top. It started to go, and yeah. You're getting a little flag in here, but you could look to buy. For the sell, you can't really sell, or you can only buy at this stage. It's well, yeah, we do have a bear hidden here. Actually, we do have a bear hidden. This one didn't go, so this is looking a bit bullish up here though. So ideally we get another one up here, and then you get your bearish setup. More confident in taking that trade when you get 3 up and bearish divergence. Then you could look for your sell. But yeah. EG on daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C. We didn't quite get to that 100 fib, and then we were looking for the A, B, C. We still haven't broken this low. Technically, it is complete because we have broken this A wave here in the C wave. So it can turn at any time. H4, we got the 5 down. We got that WXY, X2, and the Z down to the first target. Any buy setup you get in here, you could definitely look for the buy. Gold on the daily. So again, this is quite complex. Looking at this as the B wave, so we get an A, B, C, A, B, C. Hopefully going and breaking at least this top here to complete a structure. It is looking quite good on the H1. But then when we have a look at this H4, we got that WXY, X2, we got that Z down, and we lost all the bullish divergence. So I was just looking for a correction in here, and then another one down, giving us that bullish divergence in here, and then look for the buy, longer term buy. And we do have a bear hidden here too. So we do have a bear hidden on here as well. So this may be coming to an end. As you can see on the H1, we got WXY, X2, and a Z up. We had that bull hidden here. it only just got to the first target, 123.6. If we get any sell set up in here, you could look for the sell. It becomes very risky to buy because we already have that bearish divergence now. So yeah, WTI on the daily. So we got that H1 wave Z up and we lost all the bearish divergence. So just looking for a correction in here before more upside. Looking at it, we've got an A, B, C. So we may get an A, B, C in here and then like an A, B, C. This may still become quite complex. On the H4, whether we look at this, it doesn't really matter which way we look at this. I was looking at W, X, Y, X2, and I was looking for that Z down. Well, we did go and break the low. Whether we look at it as a Z down or how I'm actually looking at it as an A, B, and we get a C up to this 100 fib before we get more downside, possibly more downside. If this is the flat, we'll get more downside. If this is the wave Z, well, we are getting bullish divergence. So, you don't want to miss the buy on this, whatever way we're looking at it, we're looking at a buy. So we do have bullish divergence here on the H1. You can't really sell it. That's the problem. You can't really sell it. If you get a correction in here, something you can buy, I'd be looking for the buy. Bitcoin on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C. Didn't quite get down to the 100 fib, but we got the bullish divergence. The problem is this here looks very corrective for more downside. It may have completed the structure like we were showing last week, looking at that like an A, B, C. Then you get that A, B, C. Problem is this is looking corrective in here. This is looking like there's still more upside. What I would have liked to see for the sell is nice impulse and a sell setup to sell. It's not giving that. It's giving it more of a buy setup, and we have bearish divergence. So it becomes very risky to buy. If you got a good enough setup on the lower time frames, you could give it a go. To the buy, keep very tight stops. But yeah, ideally we do fall over, go and break that low, and then we start fresh, start looking for our buys. S&P 500. So we're looking at that WXY, X2, and a Z down. Here we're looking at, like I've mentioned, I don't really like it as this is a B wave, but I'm looking at A, B, and a C up before we get the Z down. On the H4, we have bearish divergence. We've got that A, B, C. It's gone way past the 123.6, and it's starting to get up to that 161.8. But we have the bearish divergence, so it becomes risky to buy, and it's not really giving us a sell. Maybe starting to give us that sell now. we got bearish divergence on the H1. Ideally, really would have liked a little bit more downside in this impulse down. It's a very shallow impulse, so it's risky. Would have really liked to see a nice impulse down, flag or correction, and then go. But here we're still, there is a possibility of bull hidden. It's not valid to trade, but as bull hidden, but this is still looking very much bullish. So you have to be careful. You have to go down onto the lower time frames. If you get a little sell in here, definitely you could look to take it. AU 200. So we're looking at that W, very deep X, a Y. We'll be looking for an X2 and a Z down. So on the H4, you can see we're looking at WX, Y, X2 and a Z up. This is still looking bullish up here. And we can get up to that 161.8. So, you could look to buy this, keep a very tight stop, and just scalp it. And then you'd be looking for the X2 and then the Z up. The DAX. So we're looking at a W, very deep X, Y, and then we're looking at an A, B, C in the B wave, and then we get that A, B, C up to this 100 fib. There was a nice setup on this one. It hasn't really gone though. We're starting to get that bearish divergence. This is still looking rather bullish in here. You got 3 down. You could look for a buy. But you're only scalping because we have that bearish divergence already. So yeah. And the FTSE. So again, this can turn into so many different structures because we got an impulse and an impulse. Then this is our correction. So we can look at A, B, C, A, B, C before you get the larger, more upside. So this can become quite complex. Again, H4 we're already getting bearish divergence, so you really can't buy this. And it's very slow, really deep pullbacks. You got a lot of bearish divergence, so you just have to wait for a sell setup. You can't buy, very risky to buy, and you're waiting for a sell setup. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Please like, share, subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.